everybody, and welcome to today's live stream about Pulsechain and the Sacrifice launch. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Remember, that's the topic that we're talking about. So we're not talking about other tokens or anything in today's chat, just about Pulsechain and the Sacrifice phase. So let's get into this straight away. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, like, share, hit that bell. Hope you've been enjoying the Pulsechain series on this channel. We obviously think it's a big deal, so having a good time with it as well. And now Sacrifice looks like it's very much upon us within the next 24 hours. We're going to check out Richard's interview that he did earlier today. And I don't know if you haven't watched it, but I've got the link in the video description, and you've got the link to the timestamp for the announcement that it's going to be within 24 hours. So the other side of it is we've also got some bonus material in that's just come out fresh hot off the press. So we're going to check that out as well on Richard's Twitter. So it's going to be a lot of fun too, and we're going to look at a few other topics. What sort of the basic things you need to get ready for the Sacrifice phase. So it is upon us. So let's get straight into it. I'll just check the chat there. And once again, if you want to get in the chat there, say hello and stuff like that. But really, this is going to be maybe I don't know, 20 to 30 minute live stream just to touch on this topic since it's pretty fresh. So looking good. Let me just go to set up the stuff and check the audio is going good. So, hey, welcome to, if you're watching this after the live stream, welcome, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. Trying to get the latest information just for entertainment purposes, of course. Do your own investment, due diligence. This is not investment advice, so we aim to, do the best we can, but, that's just the way it rolls. All right, let's quickly check here. So we're just going to go into and play the video. Oh, this is earlier today, and let's go for that.
So when does this happen, Rich? When are you forking the Ethereum chain?
So today is the Sacrifice phase. I've only got 2 hours of sleep, so maybe.
So there we are, folks. That there is, the basic announcement is going to be today. So really cool. I've left the link to this video description below. You can actually watch this whole section. Does this back end section here does talk about Pulsechain. So that's the case. So very cool. Let's just quickly.
Sacrifice phase. I've only got 2 hours of sleep, so.
So yeah, Richard's pretty tired on that. 2 hours of sleep's not much, but you can actually hear the back end's the better discussion. You can hear that.
Maybe today is a long day. Maybe we should.
Yeah, so maybe today's a long day, but within today, so it's pretty awesome stuff. So exciting, it's here upon us. So very cool. You can actually see the full video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me just switch out. I'm going to switch out now back to Twitter, and we're going to check out the latest info on the Pulsechain Sacrifice. There's lots of good stuff. So let me just change that out now. All right, so let's go into Twitter there, and we're going to check that out. So here's the Richard Hart's Twitter. And don't forget, these links are in the video description. All the 4 official links: Richard's YouTube, Richard's Twitter, the Telegram, and obviously the website for Pulsechain. So they're all in the links. Don't forget to check them yourself independently. There will be a lot of scams out there. Remember, take care out there. This is a Sacrifice phase. It's the first phase of the Pulsechain launch is the Sacrifice. Second phase is actually the main net, and obviously there's a test net in between. There's also a snapshot after the Sacrifice phase, which is expected as well. So that's pretty much the process that we're expecting over the little while. But this was the show that he did 11 hours ago. You can see that there. Yeah, Richard only had 2 hours sleep, so it was interesting. I don't think the host really understands what Hex and Pulse is about, but that's up to him, isn't it? All right, so this just came out 29 minutes ago. 29 minutes ago, folks. So it's fresh off the press. Pretty awesome stuff. And that is congratulations to Ripple. The Pulsechain Sacrifice phase is bringing you adoption. So this is just that promotion about the Ripple Sacrifice part. Brad Garlinghouse, do you have your favorite XRP block explorer? And you can track XRP Sacrifice there on that link there. So every address, like non-Ethereum address, is going to have a thing where you can actually track stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. all Ethereum addresses you can track, see what's going in and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. Then what came up 24 minutes ago, this works by sacrifices using the DApp. URL is not yet announced, remember, so the sacrifice is not actually launched yet, but within 24 hours. So important to get get issued a number to include in the memo field of their transaction. That number ties their sacrifice to MetaMask address. And this gets us what you need to get ready for this. So you need to use a MetaMask to interact with the DApp on the Pulsechain site. So we're just going to pull up the Pulsechain site just quickly. Let's go for gold on this. So you can actually pull up the Pulsechain site. This is one here. So it's pulsechain.com, and the DApp's going to be on here, and you're going to be able to interact it with your MetaMask wallet. So you need a MetaMask wallet. That's very crucial for that one. Right, so that's what you need to get ready. And if you're going to be sacrificing ERC tokens or Ethereum, you need to have them in the MetaMask wallet there. It's the best way to do it. So just take that into account. I think it's the simplest way and just the best way to do it. So very cool on that. And basically you're going to end up, when it does launch, the DApp will show up here, but you need to go to the official channels. So it's going to be an official announcement by Richard. So you need to keep up to date with that. I've left the links once again in the video description, but double check them, of course. You can go to Pulsechain, go to Open Telegram on the website, and that will open up the official Telegram, and it's a great place to be, and you just go from there. All right, so let's quickly go here, and so this is what we've got here, so that's a pretty cool sign. Then we got a third one around Dodge. So first we had Ripple, and now we've got Dodge. So he's just tweeting out there, so it's pretty imminent. It's 12 minutes ago, only 12 minutes ago, hot off the press. This Dogecoin's founder, he hates cryptocurrency. I've seen his mental disorder before. It's called "I sold my future for pennies on this dollar." So it's pretty hilarious. Don't be a no coiner. Bring crypto adoption. Pulsechain.com sacrifice brings adoption to Dodge, and then it's got at Elon Musk as well. So I love that stuff there. So he's got some posts here. You can read them yourselves because I've left the link in the video description. So let's just refresh this Twitter once more time and see what else he's got on there. Pretty hilarious stuff. Let's see if he's posted anything else. It's obviously starting to post on Twitter at the moment, so you want to keep a very close look out for that. Yeah, so those are the 3 posts that he's just posted just in the last half an hour, and you can see the last post was only 13 minutes ago. So he's back onto the Pulsechain. So it's coming up within 24 hours. So that's pretty much it. So very cool on that one. Now, so you're going to need a MetaMask wallet. You're going to need your sacrifice tokens in there, pretty much. So ERC20, Ethereum, that sort of thing. If you're going to do non-Ethereum tokens or coins, then you're going to need to, when you get to the DApp on the actual Pulsechain site, you're going to actually have to nominate a unique address. Now, we have a draft of obviously of what that's going to look like. So the DApp's going to look something like this. So you're going to have this, you connect your wallet up with the Pulse Sacrifice when the DApp launches, not yet launched. Wait for Richard's official announcement. Don't use anybody else. Anyone emails you, tries to DM you or whatever. Don't use any of those links. They're all scams, every single one. You have to go to Richard's. That's really important because if you're looking to participate, now participating in the sacrifice is optional. So you're not, don't have to do it. It is speculative as well. Don't forget, speculative. So you just got to take that into account. Do your own investment, due diligence, etc., etc. So very important. So anyway, here, this is the draft UI that we got. So it's got to connect the wallet. It's got the sacrifice here. Wallet connected, so it shows you your address. Select a network. So presumably it's going to look pretty similar to this. This was a little while back, but this is the idea. And then you're going to select your network. Okay, so the networks that are going to be available, and then you're going to have your wallet, and then you're going to be able to issue you'll get issued an address depending on which one you select. So what tokens and network you're going to select on, you'll get issued address. Now remember, everyone that's sacrificing on the ETH chain is going to be having sending their crypto to the same place, and they'll obviously get a unique number ordered, new numbered issues, so they'll be able to track that via that. And also, if you're going to be doing non-ERC20s, then you'll be sending it to a unique address that which will be created for you when you go into the DApp. That's going to be issued. This DApp here that you can see once it's actually issued on the actual Pulsechain site. So, but once again, you got to wait for the official announcement from Richard. And one way it might be doing is just following Twitter, otherwise YouTube, Telegram. We're waiting for the official announcement. I understand it's going to be on YouTube, so we'll look out for that too. All right, so that's pretty cool on that one. Let's have a quick look. So I've got some comments there. Thomas and James says if you can answer it on the sacrifice, you go. Oh, let me just see if that's still there. I see. Oh, Thomas has deleted that message, so I'll just jump there. Hey, Hillatark, good to see you, Hillatark. A couple of beers, yeah. Clang, ching, ching. The sacrifice phase is upon us. It's not quite launched yet, but within 24 hours, it's going to be fun. Thomas says, my understanding is for the sacrifice, you receive points. Will those points be automatically converted to pulse? They will, once the sacrifice phase is finished, all the points will be calibrated, and you'll know how many pulse you'll get at the end there. Now I'm going to quickly touch that again. At my video yesterday, we had the charts about pulse, what those scenarios are, but I am going to touch on those today briefly. But if you want to see the full point things from yesterday, go check that out. But we will have another look at it today, since it is the basic stuff about the points. So when you're going to sacrifice, you're going to get points, and those points will then translate into pulse when the calibration finishes. Now, if the amount's not as high as the Ethereum blockchain, then it all gets scaled as well. So any points that you do get into the sacrifice phase will get scaled if the amount of tokens is less than the Ethereum ones calculated, and so it will get scaled up to the match Ethereum. So it's a nice little feature. I thought it was cool. All right, I'm just going to double check this one more time just to see whether Richard's got any more tweets on here and so forth. You can go on here. Well, pretty much all the information's on Twitter, so you can get access to that. Just be careful you're on the official Twitter and not on a scam one. We saw a scam one there the other day. So that's it at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Scroll down. We're going to just scroll down to the two main ones that we were talking about earlier. Let's go scroll down here. He's actually posted a lot of tweets just saying you can actually observe the sacrifices that people make going into some of the addresses. So he's got some information there on the tweets, but I'm not going to go through those. Just going to scroll down here. You can read those. Let's just go back. We're all not far down from here. I'm just trying to get to the main charts. Here we go. So these were the main ones. So you can see that this is the first phase. There's two main components. There's a time component. You get points for the time component, and the second component for your points is you get volume bonuses as well. So you get a multiplier for that. And those are the two main things that you should be looking at. Also, there's the USD. That's assuming USDC that you're sacrificing. But of course, there's non-USD, which means that you're kind of speculating. Will the price, for example, Hex? Will the price of Hex go up? Will Unicoin? Will the price of Uni go up? And you submit it at that particular time. You get a snapshot every half an hour, and you get that time-weighted average prices. So it's a little bit speculative. But otherwise, typically going in early is better, going in bigger is better. Those two things are basically the rules that guide you. Otherwise, you're kind of speculating on the price over the sacrifice phase of 17 days. So it's up to you to whether you're going to do that or not. Cosmos Gemini, a membership of this channel. Great to see you. Awesome stuff. Hi guys, today is stake day as usual. Should I stake as usual or add to the sacrifice bag? Oh, well, it's up to you, Gemini. We can't make those decisions for you, as much as I'd love to help on that, but it's really your decision to make there, Gemini. Really up to you. Remember, the Pulsechain is a speculative move. I think it's going to be huge, but once again, it's up to you. That risk return is part of the decision making there. I wish I could help you out with that one. D007, how do you know how many Pulse coins per point? Yeah, we know that already, so we're going to jump in here. Here we go. It's going to talk about this. Obviously, this is once again, I did a video on this yesterday. Check that out. So here we are. Here's the rate per 10,000 sacrifice points. This is the first. So there's two parts: time. You get points based on time and US dollars, and points based on the volume, the amount of US dollars that you end up submitting. And that gets time stamped if it's non-stable coins based on the market price within a half an hour period. Time-weighted average price. So that helps. So here is the basic idea. So the first 3 days, it's all for every $1 you will get 10,000 sacrifice points. Okay, and then after day 3, it goes up by 5%. So you can see that here, first days get three days get the same rate, and then the rate increases 5% per day for the remaining 14 days, right? So the remaining 14 days, earlier is better. And that's the basic rules that I've said earlier is better. All right, so a lot of people will be going in here. I think that small investors as well as big investors should go in here. Obviously, big investors will go in there, but I think small investors should too. Some people, otherwise you're kind of speculating on the price further up, and that may be better. That may turn out better, especially if you're doing non-stable coins, like if you're sacrificing Hex, for example. That might actually play better. You might get a better time price, but you're really saying what's going to happen to the price of Hex over this period, and that's really what you're speculating on, right? So just take that into account. So yeah. All right, let's quickly get out of that one. So that's the first part. That's the time pace, and I've also got a spreadsheet on that here, and this is what we used in the video yesterday. So we sort of said that if you had, so let's say $1,500, then on day one, you'd get, you know, let me just get that. On day one, you'd have 10,000 points. So that's because it's 10,000 to $1. So that would give you, let me just get the arrows, got the arrows right. That would give you, you know, $1,500 times 10,000 points on day one would give you 15 million points. So you can see that there. That'd be true for each day. And this, of course, assumes that you've got a stable coin, so that it's like USDC that you're sacrificing, or you're sacrificing, let's say Hex, which is non-stable. The price can move around. Then you sort of will get a different price of that at every different half an hour, right? So that would change things a little bit for you in terms of the points, but let's assume that they were always the same. The Hex was the same price, then that would be 15 million points. Obviously, then it comes up to the second part, of course, which is further up here, and that is the linear bonus curve. And this is for volume. So the first one's based on time. Getting in earlier is better, and you can see that the first 3 days is a better bonus. You get more for your dollars. Obviously, by the time you get to day 17, you get you know, you're paying $2 to get the same amount of points. So for $2, you only get half the amount. So as the days go through, you can see that you're going to get less points per dollar. You can see that goes down here, and obviously this is indicative. Okay, so this is based on indicative stuff, but you can see that that would end up getting you $1,500. You need to get about 7.5 million, as opposed to the first day where you're getting twice as much, which makes sense, right? So because $2 is twice as much as $1 per 10,000 points. So you can sort of see that as a guide. So there we are. But of course, then there's a time bonus, and this is speculative because I don't know how time bonus is based. Sorry, then there's a volume bonus. So we've got the time bonus. That's pretty obvious to understand. Then we've got a volume bonus, and that's a little bit harder to understand because you're going to get ranked, and we just don't know where the US dollar amount will get ranked by all the people that enter. You know, thousands and thousands of thousands, and they'll get ranked from the biggest whales down through to the smallest, that with the number of points based on USDC that they sacrifice any point in time, right? So this is just a guess. That's why I've got blue font. So we'll go up to the next tweet that talks about this, which is this one here, the volume multiplier. And you can see that basically it's a 1x to 2.5x linear bonus curve ordered by sacrifices point volume, right? So the more points that you have, you'll get ranked by that. So larger is better. Basically, the more USDC or a value, it could either be a stable coin or it could be just when the timestamp value of the non-stable coin like Hex or Uni or something like that gets time-stamped, then that would be the US dollar equivalent amount, right? So that would give you a certain amount of points, and we know that's 10,000 points on the first couple of days, but that decreases over time. So you can see how that plays. And so there we are. And so that was, so I've just assumed that, you know, $1,500 is probably going to be, it's not bad, but it's probably going to be on the lower end of sacrifices in terms of getting points. So, you know, 15 million points might be on the lower end. And so I've just put it in a low factor. So let's say 1.01, and it could be 1.1, you know, you never know. And that would change the points up a lot more. So you'd end up getting 16.5 million points with the volume bonus. So you've got the time amount, and then you got the volume bonus that gives you total points. And then, of course, if it's not in total, if the total amount supply is not as big as the Ethereum issue of coins and stuff, then that will end up being that scaled up, and so you get extra and more coins that way as well. But you have no control over that. So yeah, let's quickly go in there. Umagat, hey, hi Superman. So Andreas is our one of our moderators. Good to see you, Andreas. Very cool. And Max Troller, sorry, I'm sure you've answered this a lot before, but I have to ask, since I want to make sure, if I sacrifice my Hex and I haven't staked it, I will essentially lose my Hex and get tokens. That's correct, Max. That's correct. So if you sacrifice your Hex out of your liquid Hex on the ETH chain, you will not. You have to you lose those coins altogether. You're sacrificing for the political cause. Remember, there's a political cause, and that's the case. So let's go up and see that. So hopefully this one's pretty easy to understand. So let's jump out there. So those are the two phases. Those are the two main ones. Once again, the links to this is below. So if you want to read that in your own time, you can read the full story. And let's get a quick load. Now, there is a third part, of course. There are going to be, you're going to get 1 free pulse per sacrifice point. So that's the maybe answering the earlier question. So 1 free pulse per sacrifice point. Now, Ethereum holders only get 1 free pulse per ETH. So you'll get P ETH on the Pulse chain, but you'll only get 1 pulse per ETH. So that's why that's why the sacrifice phase is so many people want to get into it, because that's where most of the pulse will be. All right, so take that into account. But of course, if you get that 1 pulse per ETH, if let's say you got ETH on the ETH chain, it gets copied over to the Pulse chain, so it becomes Pulse ETH. You'll get 1 pulse per ETH on that one. But of course, you have to use that pulse within 30 days, otherwise you lose it. So it's really about encouraging people to be active on the Pulse chain. So that's really how you get that. All right, so I think that's it. So, and here's the scaling factor. So if the total supply isn't 10,000 X per ETH, so remember it's 10,000 pulse per ETH on that, then everybody will get upscaled. So the bonus coins pro rata to bring the total supply to 10,000 X ETH total supply. So 10,000 pulse per ETH. And as I said, that's about 1.1 trillion pulse coins is what I'm expecting from that, based on the, was it 116 million Ethereum in supply. So hopefully that gives a good. Now remember, the US dollar value sacrifices are estimated using 30-minute time-weighted average prices where convenient. Okay, so we'll have to see what that's like when it's actually ordered. But basically, if you're using non-stable coins, in other words, you don't have a fixed US dollar value, then that can fluctuate depending on which half an hour you ended up submitting your non-stable coins into. So hopefully that helps there. I think let's go back to the chat there. I think that might have answered Max's question. Maxtra, which then will be Pulse. Yeah, ultimately be Pulse. Yep. Andreas, which token coin do you think is the smartest sacrifice? Well, I think the smartest is Hex, because the price, it's got small liquidity pool, price is going up. It's already got a big part of the crew is the Hex community. That makes sense. Other good tokens might be other smaller coins that you can move the liquidity on. You can get the higher price on, stuff like that. So yeah, I think so. That's why I think we've seen a big move in the Hex price, right? So if we jump over to the Hex price, remember this video. So here is about Pulse, but Hex is a key, the golden child in this story, because any Hex that goes into sacrifice just won't be sold back into the market, hypothetically speaking, said Richard. So there's a video on that if you want to see that on YouTube. And so there we are. So you can see that it actually pumped up, didn't it? Pumped up to almost 15 cents, pulling back here, and it may have another pump once the actual sacrifice launches is actually live. People have another pump up, so we're looking out for that. That's obviously, we don't know the future, but that's kind of what we're expecting. And so this is the one that's easy to move. There's not big liquidity in it as such. So if we actually go to the liquidity, let me just pull this up on here. We're going to go to graphics.rocks. This is the site. I haven't actually got this in the chart, but you can actually see that the amount there that is 57 million Hex in the USDC pair. So that's USD, and V3 is 28%. So you can see that that's the amount of liquidity that's in there at the moment. It's not a lot, so it's easy to move the price. And a lot of people are probably not wanting to sell. You get some wallets that do sell in, but that's do get some people that are trying to sell their big bags, maybe OGs and stuff like that. But most of them are actually probably just holding off. Many of them are going to sacrifice. You're going to get all sorts of strategies, right? So I think that works well there. Let's quickly, I'm on the wrong one there. So I think that was it. I had one more thing to talk about, and I think that's this is the disclaimer. So this comes back to the fact that you're sacrificing to make a political statement that you believe blockchains are speech, and speech is protected human right. So this is kind of the Howey rule thing and Howey test, where you sacrifice, you don't expect anything, but of course you're going to end up getting rewarded with points, and then eventually Pulse tokens. So that's how it's going to work. You must have no expectation of profit from the work of others. So it's that Howey rule test. That's around securities. Okay, so avoid being a security. The set of people who have sacrificed to show their commitment to this political statement makes a great set of people to airdrop things to. The only thing we know, of course, is set to be airdropped for free to this political group so far is the Pulse. All right, so that's the the political statement. If we hear about other cool things, we'll let you know. So what other cool things is that? Who knows? So like I say, I think there's other stuff in the thing. We already know that Richard said there's going to be some secret sauce that we already know. He said that there's things up his sleeve that are going to be really new and cool. So there's lots of those sort of things going. And of course, the Genesis wallet gets 1%. And stuff like that. So there's lots of different little features in there. So we're going to see exactly what's up in store, right? So I think it's pretty interesting. And we always know Richard's good at being innovative in the space. Remember that to see words like price and credit here, you're not buying anything. The world is just noticing you amongst a group of people that sacrifice to make a political statement. All right. Some countries tax their citizens when they receive things of value. Pulsechain and all other coins are designed to start with no value. Okay, so when you actually, when all the coins, when mainnet rise for Pulsechain, all the coins will be worth nothing, and then the market's going to price them up, right? So that's got to take that into account. So you're sacrificing your valuable tokens now, and you expect to receive nothing. You're going to get rewarded with some pulse coins eventually when Pulsechain launches, pretty much. But it's going to start at zero value, and then the market's going to price it up. So you've got to have a good understanding, and that's the game, right? And it's so just take that into account. Pulsechain and all other coins on it are designed to start with no value, which is ideal. Consult your legal and financial professionals, as nothing written here should be considered professional advice, and that's true on this channel too. So once again, do your own due diligence, seek financial advice if you need to, etc., etc., and that's the way it goes. So cool on that one. So that there is the other key one. I don't know if we've got other stuff here. We've already been through a lot of the stuff before. And you can actually check a lot of these extra stuff, the sort of extras that you can go through and check. So hopefully that's answered that. Let me just get into the chat there. Hey, Gemini, cheers, no worries. Yeah, sorry about that, Gemini. I would love to, to help you on that, but it really is something that you need to make a decision on. XDL, good evening on the East Coast. Represent on the East Coast. Love it, XDL. XDL does a lot of Axion merch, so good to see you, XDL, in the chat there. Don't forget to access that, so you can get to that. So right, Max Atroa, thanks, says Max. All the best. Yeah, and Cadillac Jack, hi Superman. Hey Superman, here to learn. Absolutely, Cadillac Jack, good to see you, of course, as always. I don't know what those letters there mean, Jack, Cadillac Jack, but hey, Andreas, hiya XL, hiya Cadillac Jack, and Andreas. AA, so good to see you all in the chat there. So love the community here. We try to keep an open mind on this channel. Not to keep away from tribalism. It's really about the journey and about finding good value in DeFi. So check that out. Once again, that's pretty much how we roll. And yeah, Gemini, who is a member of this channel, one of the first, we just launched memberships a couple of days ago. So you want to become a member of this channel. We're going to be doing lots of great stuff coming up and trying to get the best information. And so that's how we roll. But yeah, really cool. If you want to join the membership, hit the join button. We've got 4 different categories, and we've got Elite, Hero, Kraken. Get into it, and help support this channel. It's going to be pretty awesome going forward. We're growing pretty fast, so it's really nice and fun to see. And I'm going to be doing 2 more live streams today. 2 more live streams today, and one's going to be both of them going to be on Axion, not Pulsechain, but one of them's going to be about community promotions, and the other one's going to be about our auctions where you get wrapped Bitcoin dividends. So it's a pretty exciting place to be in Axion for sure. We don't really worry about the short-term market prices. Obviously, the market's down at the moment, and obviously Pulsechain is really where all the action is. So it's pretty awesome stuff. Let's see how here we've got just a question by Jonathan Mills. What happens with state text? Sorry, new to this community. That's all good, Jonathan. Great to see you. That's a good question. So state text will get copied over when mainnet launch. So the first phase is the sacrifice phase. That's optional. You don't have to go into that. Most people are going into it to try to get the most of the pulse coins. All right, but then the second phase is live mainnet. That's the mainnet. There's little things in between like a test net and the sacrifice and the snapshot. But the main net's going to go live as a second phase, and all you have to do is you can do nothing. You just don't have to do nothing. So if you've got Hex, if you've got a stake, it will just get copied over to Pulsechain. So you can have 2 copies. You can have a copy of your stake on Hex, on ETH Hex, or the Ethereum chain. You can have a copy of your stakes on a Pulsechain, which is going to be P Hex, right? P for Pulse Hex. So that's how it works. Hopefully that helps. Port City Trading Desk. Hey, haven't seen you in the chat before. Great to see you. What is best strategy for this? I don't own X, got 4K to invest. Well, it really depends on if you want to. The reason why a lot of people use Hex because it's got a small liquidity pool and the price can move up a lot and so you might be able to get a better US dollar when you actually sacrifice your value, right? So that you get higher US dollars. That's why people do it. The alternative, of course, is making this the conservative play, which is just to use USDC or use Ethereum, something like that. Use Unicoins, just something that's going to be relatively holding its value. So either a stable coin which holds its US dollar value, get in early is the best, and that's probably the place to be. Maybe day 1, 2, 3, but probably early is better. With the stable coins, probably won't matter too much if you're using USDC, because you're just going to get ranked for the volume bonus anyway. But if you get early, you get the time bonus. So the time is just basically upfront getting early. Yeah, think about that. I can't really tell you to buy a token, just for information and entertainment purposes, but you can see that a lot of people are buying Hex because it's got smaller liquidity pool compared to the big ERC20s, and so that's easier. So let's pull up the old CoinGecko and have a look on there. You can see that obviously it takes a lot more economic energy to move Ethereum. So you've got the daily volume here up at 20 billion, right? So it's a lot more volume to move it. Let's quickly go to Hex and we'll go to Nomics. Probably a bit easier to see on Nomics on Hex because it's actually ranked correctly on Nomics. So let's have a look here. So Hex is ranked number 3 now on Nomics, and you can see that the daily volume is 90 million US dollars. So if we can compare that to CoinGecko, you're talking about $20 billion to move the prices of Ethereum. So there's a lot of economic energy turning over that. So you can see the big difference there. And so obviously Ethereum's at 1.9. So that would be the case. You've also got, if you go further down to Unicoin, for example, which is ERC20, you can see it's 444 million trading volume to move that, as opposed to Hex, which is 90. And 90 is actually very big for Hex, obviously, because we're having massive price rises in Hex, and that's the way it be. So you would need to make a decision about that. But yeah, I would either, you've got to make a decision ultimately. I can't really tell you what to do. I'm just showing you what the market is doing and why they're doing it. So hopefully that helps you. Let me know in the chat if that does. Ken Homestead, hey, good to see you. Good evening. Good evening to see you, Ken. Really great. Hey, I've tried to slow down my speech because we do speak quite fast down here in good old New Zealand. So when we do start yakking away, we do start running the words. So there we are. All right, so that's how that is. Let me quickly think. I think that was about it on there. Let's have a see. So getting ready, you need to have your MetaMask wallet. You need to have your, ideally, have your tokens in your MetaMask wallet, your ERC20s, your Ethereum, if you're going to, whatever tokens you're going to sacrifice, if you've got Hex in there, if you've got Unicoin or whatever ERC20s you've got in there to sacrifice that's on the list. Let's go to the list actually, and let's see what the list is at the moment. Let's quickly scroll down. I think it's down here. How far have I gone down? Have I got too far down? I'm not sure if I've gone too far down now. Yeah. Just bear with me one moment while I find, I'm pretty sure the list was here somewhere. I was looking for the blockchain list actually. So many tweets now, so it's a lot. It is a lot to go through, but you just got to find the good ones, the ones that matter to you. Yeah, I thought we were. Is it further down? I thought it was past this one, but never mind. Actually, it might be past there. So sorry about this. This is the only thing that I didn't have line queued up, unfortunately. Here we go. Okay, sure you guys enjoy me scrolling through these tweets. That's a lot of fun. I probably won't even find it after all this. No, I haven't found it. So there we are. That's the problem when you don't queue it up. Let me just super scroll now. Almost about to give up on it actually because I'm trying to find the actual list. I know that there we are. So Sacrifice app supports following chains right now. So let's click on that. So AVAX, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, Ripple, and Zcash might be removed. So we don't know about that yet. This list is probably not going to get any longer. So consider swapping something like USDC to ETH or Hex. So back to Jonathan. I think it's Jonathan. Oh no, it's back to Port City. So that's what Richard's kind of saying. Consider swapping something like USDC. So if you've got 4,000, for example, consider swapping it to ETH or Hex. So that's in Richard's tweet. So hopefully that gives you a bit of guidance from the man himself. So awesome stuff there. Max Troller, I think some people are planning on sacrificing a little at a time for the first few days. Yeah, so Max is right. So now we're talking about strategies, right? So there's two ways of looking at strategies. Some people are looking at, obviously you've got to select the token or that your coin that you're going to use and the blockchain that you're going to use, obviously. And we can see that when we look at the actual, when we actually look at the sacrifice page, you connect your wallet, you select your network, you select the pretty much, you connected there, you select your network down here, one of these networks, which we just went through, and then you select, which you're going to have your token, and you get an address, right? So that's the way that's going. But what happens is that some people might say, let's say I had 10,000 hex, for example. I might sacrifice 70,000, 7,000 hex on the first day. I might sacrifice 2,000 hex on the second day, and 10,000 hex on the third day, right? Trying to get the different time price for hex. So that's one way you might do it. If I was doing USDC, like it was just a stable coin, I'd just sacrifice it probably on the first day. There's no real point because they're not going to change in US dollar value at all. So that's probably how I'd roll on that. The other thing is that with the stable coins, that's what some people might do. Some people might do another strategy is that's about actually sacrificing. So let's say I had 15,000. So I'm going to sacrifice. Richard sort of said maybe you could sacrifice 2/3 of your hex, for example, just using hex as example. You could be using another token. So you could sacrifice that. You might do say I had 15,000 hex. I might sacrifice 10,000, and I might do that over a couple of days, the first couple of days, to get a different timestamp. So I'm kind of speculating on the price that it's going to keep ramping up as people demand to buy it, to sacrifice it, right? Or for whatever reason they're holding it. And then the other 5,000 that I have out of 15, I then can keep to the side. And then I'll get a copy of that over on the Pulsechain. I'll have Hex on Pulsechain that's liquid, unless you already got some, of course, but let's assume that you haven't. Then you're going to have it on liquid. And then so that's the way you do it. So you sacrifice 2/3, which is kind of Richard saying, into the sacrifice, and then you keep 1/3. And that was just sort of where he felt there. But other people are going to do different percentages, right? Some people might just go 100% on first day, and to say, hey, I think that's the better price. There's a lot of excitement the first day. Maybe it will taper off a bit, or maybe it will go up a bit more. You just don't know. And there's different times of the day. Maybe big whales might come and sell down Hex, for example, or whatever token price moves down, and so forth. So we do know that Hex has less reflexivity. In other words, it's 80% of it's linked to US dollars. So it's really demand for Hex that pushes the price up. Whereas a lot of the rest of the tokens have all got are linked into Ethereum and Bitcoin in some way, a lot of them. So they move with those markets. As they move in the liquidity pools, all the tokens move up and down. So we've seen that the last couple of days. So hopefully that helps. Port City, why is Hex not on CMC or CoinGecko? Yeah, it's gate kept on there, and that's been a big problem for Hex. But obviously Hex is getting so big and doing so well that people are starting to, more and more people are starting to see that it's actually pretty brilliant. We saw that DApp Radar now has taken off its high risk category. So DApp Radar, which is obviously the big DeFi index listing, and they've now added it to the DeFi page. So that's pretty awesome. They even wrote a big post about it and said, well, at first we thought Hex was really high risk, but now we see that it's actually really, it's proven itself, and it's doing its thing, right? So that was pretty cool to see as well. Nice one. Francesco says, hey, Superman, will you be streaming it when it goes live and doing a sacrifice tutorial? I will be. How did you know? How did you know that, Francisco? That's terrible. How did you know? I'm going to try and do sacrifices of Ethereum tokens and non-Ethereum token. I'll just choose one, and it'll just be a small demo amount on an address, and hopefully that will be helping people as well. So we'll be doing that for sure. Because there's a few little details we don't know until the DApp launches, right? So there are a few little details we'll need to know. I think that would be great and would help all us noobs a lot. So I will be doing that. Francesco, good one. Absolutely. And Space D007, by the way, I love your accent, lovely, and love your videos too. Very informative. You're a very kind person. Thank you. Hey, D007, I really appreciate that. And I try to be as genuine and helpful as possible for sure. Mauricio Espinoza, I love that name. So there will be instructions on how to connect MetaMask to Pulse. Yes. So They will be, but also this is an example of what it looked like back in the draft. So you basically, you'll go to the Pulsechain website once it's been officially launched by Richard and only Richard. Don't listen to anybody else, not even me. Don't listen to anybody else. Richard is it. So the official links, I've left them in the description, but obviously check them, and only when Richard makes the call. No one else, not a fake Richard, nothing else. So we really, because if you're going to if you are looking at participation in the sacrifice to get Pulse coins ultimately, then you need to go to the official sites because there's scammers out there, heaps of them, heaps and heaps. So watch out for that. The other side of it, of course, you don't have to enter the sacrifice if you don't want to. If you've got stuff on the Ethereum blockchain, it will get copied over to Pulse. It will start at the when Pulse launches, it will be worth nothing, and then the market will price it up. And some tokens will be worth maybe a fraction of ETH. Some of them might be at parity, what we call parity, the same price. Over time, it doesn't mean the first day, and some might even be worth more than some ETH chains eventually. That might take some time, we just don't know. So we'll end up finding out, of course, in due course. The other side of it is, of course, USDC stable coins on there. They will not necessarily be backed by an actual physical, let's say, US dollar, but the market will probably, we'll see what the market prices them up, because we have seen fractional reserves in on the ETH chains and stuff like that, as far as I know. So that means that they weren't fully back one-to-one, and so we'll see how that plays out. Once again, do your due diligence on that, but we'll see how the USDC and the stable coins get priced up on Pulsechain. I have a feeling that they might actually do pretty well. I don't know what you think. There might be a little variability on either side of a dollar, but I think, it's just my opinion, not investment advice, but I just have a feeling because of the magnitude of the chain, and it's the first system state copy of Ethereum, that it's going to be an interesting thing. It's never been done, and it's going to be interesting to see. Once again, remember, this is very speculative. Obviously there's potential for big mad gains, but once again, just take into account it is speculative. It is speculative, okay? And when if you decide to go into the sacrifice phase, you are sacrificing for the political cause, and you will not be getting those coins back. You'll be getting rewarded with Pulse coins later in the stage once they're able to be collected. So let's take that into account. All right, very cool on that one. And Hexeto, what's that? A little penguin, is it, Hexeto? Nice to see. Very cool on that one. All right, so how are we going? We're 42 minutes. We're going pretty well. Hopefully, let's quickly check. Don't forget, this is the video that he announced. Very cool. I've got that link in the video description. You can check that out. So I'm going to close that now. We've also got Richard tweeting the last little wee while. I'm going to refresh the tweets because just in case he's done some more. So follow Twitter today because it's going to be lots of tweets. That is in the link as well, and you can double check that, of course, if you wish. Also got the Pulsechain link. You can do that, and then if on the website, you can actually open the Telegram to the official Telegram link as well. So that will help. And there's also Richard's official YouTube channel. You can check that on YouTube as well to make sure it's the official one, and so forth. So let's have a quick look down. I'm just going to see. I think he has tweeted it's a bit more here. I've scrolled too far down, haven't I? So these were the ones here that are the ones that we were talking about. Let me just. So those are the chains that are going to be live that we know of. But Zcash was just uncertain whether that will be still there when it goes live. But there we are, folks. That's the link, the list there, and you can see that actually matches up with this image here. So it's still got the purple. So it still looks like this one here. That's sort of what a snapshot looks like, and you can see that on Richard's thing here. It's got the same color. Looks like it's just been copied over from the actual DApp. So Avalanche, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, Ripple, and Zcash. And obviously, I think we'll probably expect a lot of stuff from the Ethereum chain. But Richard did mention that he's had some founders of some of these big traditional cryptos actually contact him saying that they're actually interested in going into the sacrifice phase. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. I'm interested to see how many millionaires and VCs. I do know some that are entering, but it'll be interesting to see how some of the big ones, potentially in like America and places like that, will be entering. It's going to be an interesting. How many hundreds of millions of dollars will it raise in total through the sacrifice? It's going to be interesting stuff, folks. Really interesting. Don't forget that Richard's got tweets where you can actually observe some of the sacrifices being made. So check that out on some of the tweets here. All right, let's quickly get out of there. Let's jump up to the top here. Just trying to see whether he's got any other tweets. Yeah, there's some. It looks like there's some more tweets. So this was the last one we read. Dogecoin, he's got this new one. This has just come out 39 minutes ago. And the most famous Hex test account from day 3 doubles to 408,029 days, which are the most famous Midas Crypto King turns everything he touches into legacy dreams, strikes again. So pretty hilarious. The most famous Hex test account. Let's have a quick, this is the one here. This is not to do with Pulsechain, but we'll just check it out anyway. Okay, so look at it now. It's all worth all this much money now. And this was the test on her famous $180 Hex test account, doubles to over 200,000 in less than a week. So amazing stuff there. Hilarious. So just shows you the power. That's what people were chasing in the Pulsechain. Can it do something like what Hex has done? That's what people are looking at. Obviously, it's a first system state copy of Ethereum, so it's a pretty big deal. Once again, I think we're going pretty 45 minutes. Portland, Richard said that you a 2/3 sacrifice, 1/3 Hex stake is ideal. Thoughts? Yeah, I think that's a pretty good strategy, Port City, and I think that's a good one. And that's it's probably the one I generally recommend. Is that not recommend, but as a support, I guess, is a 2/3 sacrifice. If you had, like I said, my example before, if you had 15,000 Hex, you might sacrifice 10,000, keep 5,000, and you might end up with the price rising. You might end up potentially free carrying, but you also get a copy on the Pulsechain, which means you'll have something you can go and shop on Pulsechain and join the pricing, the gold rush, when things get priced up from zero. And maybe you want to get some unicorns. You think that's going to be valuable on the Pulsechain. Pick up some of those. Maybe you got some other ERC20s that you're after. You can pick on Pulsechain, P whatever. You can chase those down. So I think that's pretty cool. Hexeto, Age of the Billionaire. This changes everything. Historical. Absolutely. I think Pulsechain's really cool. And obviously, other projects will come onto Pulsechain. There's probably going to be some new DeFi stuff on Pulsechain, and it's going to get valued up over time. Like I said, I just what I expect. I expect the price to get priced up, then I expect the pullback, but it will only go pullback in my view so far because people that enter the sacrifice will have a certain cost, right? They've sacrificed a certain amount of money, so I think it's going to find some resistance at some floor, and then it will start going up over time. That's what I expect to happen. So awesome stuff. David Gomez says, awesome stream. I appreciate that. I hope it's helpful. I know it's going to be very excitement. Also, the other thing is when the sacrifice launches, you don't have to, particularly get in there the first moment. You can take a few hours to, acclimatize and just step through things. But I think it's going to be fairly easy. Make sure your MetaMask wallets, make sure you got your sacrifice tokens in your MetaMask wallet is ideal. And then you're just going to go to the website. Once there's official announcement by Richard himself, and then you'll go to the website. There'll be a DApp here, and the DApp will probably look something like this. And you'll basically connect your wallet up, choose the network, and then sacrifice the coins. You'll get issued an address for the coins you're going to sacrifice, and you need to sacrifice those coins. That's pretty much how simple it's going to be. But I'm going to try and do some how-to videos just to step through that anyway when it does go live. I won't be the only one. There'll be lots of people, I'm sure, out there providing that help as well. But very cool. All right, so I think that's pretty neat. I think I'll probably end there, but once again, keep your pulse on the chain. It looks like it's going to launch today, so keep on Richard's YouTube, on the website. Keep on here, and you can keep refreshing that. Look at the open Telegram. If it does launch, I will be doing probably a snap surprise live stream on that. And also get into the Pulse Telegram. There's going to be lots of live chats there. People are going to be talking about every single thing about it, and it's going to be pretty exciting. But once I say, even though it's exciting, be cool, be calm, and just take it step by step. And yeah, and only invest what you can afford to lose. That's the way you have to have that mindset. So just remember that. So if you decided like 4,000, if that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do, right? So just keep that into play, and hopefully that helps. So. All right, D777, do you think that all ERC20 coins will run from day one on Pulsechain, such as Aave and others? I think some of those will, yeah, all the DeFi lending ones I think will do super well. So I would agree with that. But once again, I don't know the future, but that would be my expectation, in my view. And Hexeto said, P-Hex going to be better token than Hex. Some people think so because one of the main reasons for the chain, of course, is the fact that the chain is going to be Pulsechain increases throughput of Ethereum 4 times by 3-second blocks compared to, so it's going to be faster and better throughput, less congestion issues. It's going to be super cheap prices on the Pulse for transactions compared to Ethereum, which we can see Ethereum's up at 30 Gwei at the moment. So it's going to be a lot cheaper than that for sure. And yeah, it's going to be pretty amazing. The other thing is, PLS has no inflation, and of course you can stake to earn stuff. So, but specifically regarding the Hex, sorry, I just lost my plot on there. But regarding the Hex is that Hex is going to be cheaper to stake unstake because of the S-load function on Ethereum, and that's probably only going to get higher even with Ethereum 2.0, even with second layer solutions like Matic and stuff taking the congestion out of Ethereum. So the S-load function just keeps going. So the longer your stakes, the more time it has to loop through every day to calculate your reward when you do the unstake. So that gets more expensive as your stake goes out in the future. So Pulsechain is really the ideal solution for that. So those are my logical value drivers for, I think, why there'll be a separation. But Richard had also said that he wants high Hex prices on both chains, on Hex and Pulsechain. And I think with the sacrifice, because so many people will be sacrificing Hex into the sacrifice, and the Hex address is hypothetically not going to sell them, there's going to be less liquidity in the market. Obviously, there's stakes that come out, and people will like the cash and some of that, but there ultimately be less on both chains, because the sacrifice wallet will get a copy of all the sacrifice addresses and also on the Pulse chain. And it's also the other side of the thing is, what is the origin wallet going to do from ETH? Is it going to enter into the sacrifice? And I expect it will. I expect it will, but we also know the Genesis address is going to get 1%. So there's a few variables here that Richard's moving around, like chess pieces on the chessboard, and we won't fully know what he's got. It's all part of some of those upper sleeve tactics, or some of the secret sources as well. Or the secret source, I think, is to do with the chain, but there's going to be interesting things in play there. So hopefully that helps. That's my view on all that. And Caleb Jack says, thank you, Superman. All pleasure. Hey, Crypto Panda, good to see you. Hey, everybody. Hey, good to see Crypto Panda in the house. Exerto P-Hex could be better than Pulse. It could be, because in my view, it's less scarce. But then Pulse is going to have the economic energy of the whole chain and all tokens going through the chain. And Richard said he's kind of going to try and set it up that a lot of the economic energy does go through the Pulse peer. So that's going to be interesting, especially Pulse ETH. So that's going to be a case. It's going to be interesting to see how ETH gets priced up too and stuff like that. Pulse ETH. So it's going to be crazy time. But yeah, it's going to be lots of really interesting. But a lot of people are interested in the chain itself, I believe. So that's going to be interesting. The superiority of the chain over its layer one. Remember, you own your keys. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, there's going to be, we believe there's going to be a bridge the first day between Pulsechain and ETH, particularly with a Pulse ETH pair on both sides. And we also believe that there's going to be, let's quickly check that while we're at it. So we've talked about interoperability bridging. ETH can be traded on the Pulse network, and Pulse can be traded on the Ethereum network. Bridging can also be done on other smart contract capable networks. So other people can build bridges too as well. So independent developers, ETH on Pulse chain, you can send ETH to the Pulse bridge contract on ETH, and it locks it and issues ETH and Pulse ETH on the Pulse chain at a 1-to-1 ratio. Pulse on Ethereum, you can send Pulse to the ETH bridge contract on Pulse chain, which locks it and issues EPEACE. So the ETH Pulse on the Ethereum network 1-to-1. This can also work for ERC20s. That makes interesting to see when we get a copy. We're talking not about the sacrifice phase now. We're now talking more about mainnet. So when mainnet looks going to be interesting to see what exchanges list all the P equivalents of the copies. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays. Will they list certain ones that are really highly valued, or will they list them all? It's going to be quite an interesting thing to see exchanges do that. So trading, of course, we're going to have look at thousands of ERC20s on Pulsechain on Pulsechain can trade on Pulsechain's Uniswap. So it's going to have a Uniswap version, and similar at launch since Ethereum state is included. Now it's going to be interesting to see where there's an airdrop on the Pulse Uniswap, just like there was on the ETH chain. Do you think about that? Like we got, I think if you had done some transactions, we got about 400 tokens at minimum per address on Ethereum, and they're worth a ton of money, right? So be interesting to see whether that happens on a Pulse chain. So it's some interesting stuff there. Hexodo says eventually, and then property review. Hey, nice work. Hey, thanks, property review. Really appreciate that. Really cool. And like I say, I saw your channel the other day. Really liked it. Property review, great channel. D007. Thanks. It was a pleasure as every day. Please reintroduce Axiom Finance. Do not know about it. Good project. Can you compare it to Hex? Or please refer to the good video to watch. Thanks. Hey, we'll do that. So on this channel, there's obviously lots of great videos on Axiom as a certificate deposit, and you earn Bitcoin dividends. So check that out on this channel. We've got tons of those. If you're new to Axiom, check those out. Obviously, some awesome stuff there, and some pretty cool APY as well. And it's a buyer's market at the moment. Obviously, with the market down, you pick up a lot of Axiom. So do check that out. It's D007. It says Crypto Panda says smash that like. Yeah, smash that like button, of course. And D007, yes, smash it hard. We need to get 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Absolutely, D007. I'm with you on that one. And Andreas, a comparison video between Hex and Axiom might be really interesting for sure. Pros and cons of both. Yeah, I'll look to do that, Andreas. I think that's a great idea. And also, I'm going to do it with Wise as well, because those are the three leading certificate deposits. They all offer something different. So I'll probably flesh out some of those, but definitely check out Axion certificate deposits and obviously Wrap Bitcoin dividends every day, 4 times a week. So pretty fun there. All right, but really let's get onto there. So anyway, so trading's going to be Uniswap's going to be interesting. There will be ETH Pulse, ETH pair on Uniswap and Ethereum network, and a P ETH and ETH Pulse on pair on Uniswap on the Pulse chain. And so that's what's going to be there, a P ETH and Pulse chain. So if you have got ETH that will get copied over, it'll be P ETH, and you also get a freemium airdrop of Pulse as well. Remember, 1-to-1. There will maybe Pulse trading pairs on other smart contracts enabled chains. Exchanges may list Pulse and any thousands of tokens on the Pulse chain network. So I definitely think they're going to list Pulse, and it will just be interesting to see whether they do all the thousands or just some of the premium ones. Maybe over time more and more get listed on the chain. It's going to be interesting to see that for sure. All right, so that's pretty much it. We're going to wait for that to update. I'm going to refresh this page, see what it does. I think we're going to wrap up now. We've almost been 55 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to top here. I don't see anything up on here, this link yet. And we're just going to refresh one more time. Let's see whether Rich has been tweeting more. Once again, keep your eyes on that. That will be the big sign up. Obviously, we'll do our best on this channel to get it out. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button. Hit the bell for further videos. And of course, share if you can. And don't forget to check out the channel membership. We're growing fast, and any memberships help support the growth. More content and advertising. It's going to be pretty awesome stuff. So get into it. We're going to be covering Pulsechain over the next few months at least, if not beyond, and onwards and upwards for sure. All right, I'm going to just, I don't think there's anything there. No, nothing new. So very cool. I'm just going to wrap up now. Let's quickly go through some of the final comments. For sure, would be an interesting video. Yeah, I'm going to do that, Andreas. I think that's a great idea. Exactly, says D$7. This channel is going only going to get better. You're doing great work, says etc. Hey, I appreciate that. Onwards and upwards for sure, etc. Yeah, offering really good information about DeFi, whether it's Pulsechain, Axion, Hex, Wise, Aave, Compound, all the good stuff. The good stuff that really actually adds value. Then we're going to be talking about that on this channel. D$7, will be a very nice video. Hex versus Axion, versus Wise, cool, but all very good. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think that's a really great idea. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this Pulsechain video. Sacrifice phase is within the next 24 hours, and I think very, very soon, probably the earlier side of that. Let's watch out for Richard Hart, and that's going to be exciting times. Woohoo! All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks, Andreas, for moderating as usual. Alex couldn't be here today, so it was great that Andreas managed to drop in. And once again, I will catch you in the next one. Woohoo! I'm super excited. I hope you are too. And yeah, peace out. Cheers. Andreas says, cheers, mate. Absolutely. Let's just click out of there. Nice one.